Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, we are going over SafeMoon. Now, as many of you have seen, it has been a very busy 24 hours. Yesterday, I made a few videos, and then I kind of took a little bit of a break, as I knew that we were going to get this thing into full production this week, and I'm so excited to be back. Now, in today's video, we are going to look at the price, and we're going to look at the charts. We're going to take a look at the recent news that we got, as it is really big news, and then I'll give you guys an overall update, in my opinion, about where I think this thing is going and what my expectations for the future are from SafeMoon. So with that being said, we have a lot to cover today, so let's go ahead and let's jump straight into today's video. Now, as you can see on your screen here, I actually do have a Patreon. Now, on this Patreon, I give them access to everything I do. My trades that I make, my trade portfolio, and I give them access to these videos early. The silver tier itself comes with the notes and the research that I do for these videos whenever I do take them. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, so definitely go check that out. And if you like it, you could, of course, let me know by supporting it, and that would be absolutely phenomenal, and I really do appreciate it. Now, also, if you are looking to expand out into a new brokerage or start your own investment journey, I highly recommend using the referral link down below. It'll bring you over to Webull. Whenever you sign up, deposit $100, you will get 2 free stocks that are valued all the way up to $1,850. I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity that I think everyone should take advantage of. So with that being said, let's go ahead. We are going to take a look at the charts. We're going to get an idea of where this thing has been moving, and I will let you all know what my expectations are. So we're going to go ahead, and we are on Bogged Finance. Now, a lot of you are making fun of me because, I like to use paint. I'm not abandoning paint, but with my lines and with the technical indicators, I'll use some more straight lines just so it's a little bit clearer, but we'll be back on paint in a second here. So whenever it comes to what I am seeing at the moment, I'm seeing 2 different trading indicators here, okay? So what I'm really noticing, of course, is that we've been within a consolidation channel for about 3 days now. Now, realistically, it's been the weekend. That's more than expected, and it's something that we did see a lot from many other cryptos. Now, one thing I am starting to notice as well is that we saw it dipping below the consolidation channel, but struggling to maintain that very hard. I mean, it was having little to no success maintaining those levels. Now, one good thing about that is, as we have seen within the last 3, that these big drops out of this channel have slowly gotten shorter. Now, it doesn't really surprise me to see that, as we have started to see them get shorter as the weekend did end, and that is typically what we will see going forward into the week, is that it'll start to go up, typically whenever the volume does go up, right? So with what I am expecting from SafeMoon at the moment, it actually may surprise you, and I know I might get a little bit of heat for this, but I'm going to be honest. At the end of the day, I will forever be honest about what my opinion truly is. That's my morale. That's what makes me, makes my conscience feel right, that I'm not on here lying because maybe for my own personal benefit or anything like that. And I will actually go ahead and say I don't think right now is a good time to buy. Now, the reason that I say that is because it is not showing us any signs yet, technically, that this is going to show any growth within the next day or 2. So right now I'm addressing my short-term traders, those of you who like to get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out. Those are the ones that I'm addressing at the moment. Long-term investors and traders, I'll address that in a second, because I actually think it might be quite the opposite. So whenever it comes to the short term, mind you, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I am just a guy on YouTube with a camera who has all the time in the world to just make videos and try to entertain you, and it is entertainment purposes only. So whenever it comes to this, again, for the short term, I would personally say that until we start to see it break these trends, that this is not the best time to buy. Realistically, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big drop sometime again here soon, and I think it'll be important that if this thing does see one of those random big spikes out of the consolidation channel, that we continue to see that fall down to this trend. If it starts to fall too low, that could definitely be a sign that maybe some of the downward momentum is gaining strength, and then that, of course, is not a good thing. So what we want to make sure is that if we do see a big spike, that it only falls maybe somewhere around this region here. Now, if it falls a little bit below it within this little line here, that's not too bad. If it's around the same level as the previous one, that's not the best, not the worst. But again, if we see it start to really fall, that's not a good sign, okay? So on the short term, I would personally, if it was me speaking, and I was a short-term trader and investor in SafeMoon, what I would say is I'm going to wait to see which trend it is going to break first. Is it going to break this minor downward trend that we are seeing right here? And you know what time it is? It's paint time. So if if it goes and it breaks this trend that we can see right here, that's a good sign. That is a phenomenal sign. That means we are going up, right? But If it breaks the consolidation, if it starts to trade below these means, that's not a good sign. And then at that point, we have to figure out where's the next level of support and how far is it going to fall to get there to make the decision, okay, when is the time to get in? The last trend that we're going to pay attention to is if whenever we see these spikes here, if it goes down, meets this line, and comes back up, that's a great sign. That is an absolutely phenomenal sign in my opinion. And that shows that this support on this downward leg is very strong and that upward momentum is still intact. And that's a very good sign, of course. So personally speaking, I think since we have so many things going on right now that for me personally speaking, that it might be a good idea to just wait this one out. If you're not into it right now, you can just sit out. That's what I would do. I would just sit out and I wouldn't really do much of anything until we see exactly where this thing goes. Now, it might moon. It very easily at any given point, SafeMoon might just explode. So of course that is to take into factor. But when it comes to technical indicators that will give us a prediction or a forecast of where this thing could go, I would say that it's unsure right now. It's unclear. Give this first day back of trading, let it run. Let's see where it goes, and then use the movement it makes as a prediction as to where it could then go. So with that being said, that is my plan. That is what I'm expecting in the short term. So yeah. So now whenever it comes to the long term, right? So we addressed the short term traders, investors. Now let's talk to the long term traders, investors, right? Personally speaking, I think that any time is a good time. Okay, if you're a long term and you truly have faith, and you have, you've done your research, you've based your own investments off of your own research, that any time is a good time. But one thing I will say is that this time right now could be absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump over into the Twitter and we are going to go, we're going to go down a little bit all the way to this tweet. It says SafeMoon is the freedom of the unbanked. So we're going to talk real quick about the AMA, and we're going to talk about why this is very, very important. Okay, I'm going to try not to make this video too long. So the first thing that we did get from the AMA yesterday is going to be the fact that they are starting to target Africa. Now that is going to be very interesting because we do know that is a growing market. Secondly, we did get the information that 41% of all of the SafeMoon has been burned, which is, of course, something interesting. They said that all of that 41% is now being held within a wallet that no one has access to. And as they do continue to be burned, that is where they will go. They say not a single person owns more than 50% of all of SafeMoon. And so if we, as we do continue to see that one wallet grow, that is going to be the wallet that they are being placed in whenever they get burned. So that is good to know. Definitely good to know. Good clarification there. Right there, as we see it. Now, what I want to talk about, though, is going to be this. One thing that we have seen from SafeMoon, one criticism I have made myself, whenever I was talking about NFT art finance, I said NFT art finance has more potential than SafeMoon in the moment because there's real world application and use. There's functionality. Now, the reason I've criticized SafeMoon in the past, not in a negative way, I think people mistake the word criticism. Criticism is not always negative. Criticism is more of just in the aspect or the idea of critiquing, right? Whenever you give something a critique, what could it be better at? So what I think SafeMoon, was lacking at the time was real world application functionality, a reason, a purpose, right? And what we are starting to see is that they are starting to establish that. And I think that they took that into account and now they have figured out what route they're going to take to give this thing some use, to give it a reason, to make it an investment rather than a trade. Okay. And so what I'm seeing is that it says SafeMoon is the freedom of the unbanked. And then they are starting to mention the African market. Well, as many of us do know, if you don't know, whenever it comes to being unbanked, let's actually just go ahead and I'm going to actually pull up the textbook definition just so I don't misquote anything. Unbanked is an informal term for adults who do not use banks or banking institutions in any capacity. Unbanked persons generally pay for things in cash or else purchase money orders or prepaid debit cards. Now, the importance of that is whenever we think about Africa in general, it says that the sub-Saharan Africa, with about 350 million unbanked adults, accounts for 17% of the global total. So I think you guys are starting to understand where I'm going with this. It seems as if that they are going to be the ones who are going to try to solve the problem of being unbanked within the world. Now, the thing about that is that I don't think many people are also considering being unbanked and being underbanked can be applied to being in the same category. So underbanked means people want a bank, they need a bank, but they're not capable of accessing a bank. And that is something we do see in Africa a lot. So now if they are then capable of providing those people with the ability to use SafeMoon in a regard as a replacement or an alternative for a bank, that provides solution, that provides a fix to a real world problem, which is what we need for longevity. Now, think about it in another aspect. Think about it, and this is something I haven't seen any other YouTubers think about. We got to get deep, okay? Think about the fact that unbanked also, in broad sense again, it just means who do not use banks, willingly or unwillingly. So consider the fact that there are many people in the country, there's many people in the world who don't like banks. They don't like banking institutions. They simply just don't like the thought that they can put money into something and go to request that whole sum of money back, and then they basically have to explain why they need it if it's over a certain amount, right? It's crazy. And so it seems almost as if we could see SafeMoon start to target those people as well. As we are starting to notice, they want to be, the freedom of the unbanked. And so what that kind of entails to me is that they may want to target people who don't like banking institutions, who would prefer to use cash. Or maybe they want to use, again, like prepaid cards or anything like that. And if they can access that group of people, be like, hey, keep your money with us. As you keep your money with us, we will continue to grow it with our reflections. Because you think people who have, say, maybe savings, they're not constantly pulling money out of it. That's something that they put in, and they typically don't really touch that much. And that would make perfect sense for something like SafeMoon, because the longer you keep it in, the more you're rewarded. And as you sell, you get, you obviously, there's penalties, right? And so with that, it makes sense that if they were then capable of targeting the crowd who doesn't like banks, who doesn't like a savings account, would rather just sit on the cash, if they're able to target those people, that creates an overall overflow of people who are not going to constantly be selling out. We're not going to be seeing a whole influx of volatility from this group. As well as if they're targeting the unbanked, the underbanked, those out in Africa, those who aren't able to access a banking system, then that also provides a major increase in volume. So it's definitely interesting to think about. And I hope you guys are starting to kind of understand the thought process that I'm going through here, because it is remotely hard to explain. And so with that, I'm very excited, because if SafeMoon finds its purpose, plus this community, that could be huge. So when it comes to my long-term traders, my long-term investors, like I mentioned earlier, I think that now that they are starting to find purpose, that this provides them with a lot of long-term potential. There's no promise ever that these are going to go up, ever. There's no promise that SafeMoon is going to go up today, tomorrow, or any other day of this year. But whenever it comes to investing, it's all speculation. And my speculative reasoning right now is that as they do start to establish reason, it gives people to stay in. It gives people a reason to want to buy SafeMoon and not sell it just because it's doing well. As there is reason comes purpose. Purpose comes confidence. With confidence means people won't continuously sell when they make some profits. So with that being said, I think that could be a good play. Personally, I'm going to be holding on to this thing for a good little while, a good bit of time. Okay, I'm going to be holding on until I think that I have maximized my profits. That's always my goal in this channel, maximizing profits. That's not me saying I'll be in this thing for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It means I'm holding on until I think personally that profits are maximized and that there is a better trade to be made elsewhere. So with that being said, I think this is phenomenal. I think this is absolutely amazing news for SafeMoon, and I'm sure many of you will agree. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. I love interacting with you all. I've actually been jumping from Discord to Discord. Like I'll be in SafeMoon Discord, nftart Finance Discord, just chatting with people in voice chats. So if you ever see me in there, come say hello. We always have a good time. We always have some good conversation. But with that being said, you guys know the drill. We're back, and we are back in action. I will have 3 to 4 videos out today, and I will see you guys later today. Peace.